merely because aesthetically they're vomit-inducingly bad. They're like you've taken some very bad shrooms.
After the pounding.
Yeah. Oh my God, this has already devolved into...
Of course it has. What do you expect?
If you wear a Rolex, you suck, right?
I think that to make it, you need, there's now more than ever, because it's no longer just 10 people on YouTube making watch videos.
Right.
It's now,
Which
I'm
basically
amazed at how many...
that's what it was when we started,
That's
right?
what it was,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't believe we're talking about watches.
Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. I am joined once again. I'll give you a virtual pound over the... There we go.
You can give me a virtual pounding?
Yeah.
It's a bumping. It would be a fist bumping.
Fist first.
Where are you starting off wrong?
Yeah, we already started off wrong. There you go. My good friend Mark, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm tired, but I'm good. Everything's great. You?
Fantastic. I'm happy to be back in New York.
Yeah, hey, this is our first virtual with you in New York? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this is a bit strange because the last time we typically do this during the pandemic, like this kind of style. So it's equal kind of slightly PTSD of that, and then not to diminish real PTSD. Sorry, guys, and then. But I'm happy to be back, and hopefully next time I'll come visit you, maybe.
Yay!
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
I love that clock, by the way.
Which one?
Well, I love all of them, but in particular the new one, the Bulova.
Oh, isn't that cool?
Yeah. Do you sell those?
I don't, just because I never really got into clocks because they're so freaking big, and it's not worth the shipping. But yeah, Bulova sells that. You can go to the Bulova website and I obviously just got it as a dealer. I actually paid for it. But it's got, it's on the top left subdial is a thermometer. The top right is a hydrometer, which is your humidity. And the bottom center is running seconds, as is the main center seconds. And they're two separate mechanisms, so they're not in sync with each other.
That's crazy. Why would they do that?
Well, because the real 98K112 is a chronograph, the Lunar Pilot. Right. And they're not going to make a wall chronograph, although that would be pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
And it freaking glows in the dark.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Maybe I'll do something later and I'll send you something. I'll send you a picture, say what it looks like.
Please do.
It actually, the lume plots on the hands and the dial light up. Yeah,
right,
cool.
Future message to my wife, who's going to watch this to do the QC process during editing.
After the pounding.
Yeah. Let's not put pounding and my wife in the same section, please. Oh my God, this has already devolved into...
Of course it has. What do you expect?
To my wife, I was going to say future wife. No, sorry. My wife in the future. Christmas present, please. So yeah, definitely. I got to get one of those. That's so cool.
It's cool. They make a bunch of them, but this is by far the coolest one.
Right. Wristwatch check. Should we get that out of the way?
Oh, well. We spoke about this briefly. I am wearing my Christopher Ward. Is it the Canto C1 or the C1 Canto? I don't know. So I got the light blue one. Took like 15 months or so. I was on the wait list for a while, but didn't mind. Crazy. It's awesome. I love it. As I was setting up, it went bing. Yeah.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's on the other side?
That's a Casioak, white.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They strangely work together because it's in keeping with your branding.
Yeah, cheap and expensive. Yeah, actually, I'm not wearing an Islander, which is kind of odd. Yeah, but
yeah, but also the colors, the blue and
the blue and the white, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's even seeing it on the webcam.
Yeah.
It really like comes alive.
It's
like
awesome.
That blue.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
So the 15 months, was that because they take, because from what I remember, the Bel Canto, it has different factories doing different bits.
Yeah, well, I mean, they told me originally that, because it had just, so I ordered it in April of 23, and it had come out several months prior to that. So I think they were still running a backlog, and it was supposed to be delivered within like 9 or 10 months. I think when the 9 months are up, whatever, we got an email, or I got an email that said, you know, the gong came in and it wasn't to spec and this and that, so it's going to be a little while longer. Thanks for your patience, blah, 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 blah. So whatever. Production delays. I'm cool with it.
You bought it, and I presume as a customer, they do that for everybody, or?
What, oh, like notifications, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I left a deposit because all they would do is take a deposit, and they said, there's like a series of like 6 or 7 emails that go out through the production phase, and when it got close to the end, they said, hey, it's final assembly now. It was like an email from their general customer service, but it was signed by the owner of the company, and it just said, hey, we had a problem with, I think it was the gong. It didn't meet spec, so it's going to be another few months. So whatever. I don't care. Right. When it comes, it comes. Just make it right.
Interesting.
What are you sporting today?
Actually, it's the Squale, the Forged Carbon.
You love that thing.
Yeah, I do. It's weird. I have this love-hate relationship with it. No, not hate. It's too strong. But this kind of love and I get bored relationship with it.
Okay.
So like I'll wear it and I'll be besotted by it for like a week, and then I'll get bored of it, put it in the watch box, and then almost to the point where like, oh, kind of like maybe I don't need it. I'll sell it.
Right.
Then I put it on again.
And it's like, how could I have ever said that to you, honey?
Exactly.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. You know, seriously, I don't get that with any other watch.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah. Cool.
Because now I'm just like, all I want to wear is this. Right. And it'll be like that for a week. And then it would just, boom, done. And it's just really strange.
So you go on like multiple honeymoons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the honeymoon that ends abruptly where you want a divorce, it's really immediately. It's so strange.
Anyway,
so today is your response to your questions that oh my God, there was so many fantastic. We could do like 100 of these.
Excellent.
There's so much stuff. I'm going to actually start with my own question, which is for you regarding this. Part of the reason I wore this. And just so you know, this is not the original strap. This is a Wrist Candy Watch Club, the waffle. I actually took it off and I put the Squale buckle on this. And it really works, in my opinion. So kind of leads into what I wanted to ask you. Now, I saw you on your website. You have both this, the first gen.
Oh, and the newer one.
Yeah. Now, was I wrong in thinking the newer one was to replace it, or are they carrying on?
No, I believe it's to replace it, but they still exist. I believe there is still existing stock. The new one's got the carbon fiber. I'm doing this from memory. The carbon fiber dial, and then the carbon fiber bezel. And,
right.
It's not bezel insert. The bezel's the same, and it's a couple $100 premium.
I thought, okay, they're done with this, they discontinued it, and then they've switched over to the new one.
So I believe there's just still stock kicking around. We're still getting them, but I'm fairly certain that they are disco, and they're up to the new version now.
Interesting, because also there's a price hike.
Yeah. Well, the hike was because of the carbon fiber insert and the dial. So those are just much more expensive to manufacture.
Right, that makes sense. I got to be honest, and I've said this in the previous video, I actually prefer
I know you said you like that one better. Yeah. I think a lot of people do, especially for I don't want to say cost savings, but yeah, the cost savings. I mean, it's less expensive, but for the extra money, you're not getting all of that much more.
Right, exactly. And also, I like the stealthiness of this.
Yep.
With the blacked out bezel, it refers to the H3 or the one they did for, was it Sinn or one of the older? Actually, no, they did it for Blancpain. You know, where they have that bezel that's completely blacked out.
Blacked out. Yeah. Well, they did also. They did it with was it the Galeazzi or?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
No, Dras.
That's it. Dras, the submarine people. That was it.
Yeah.
Yep. With the blue triangle on it. That was
Right. Because I like it. Kind of references their history.
Yep.
So I thought that was cool. Okay, well, now I know. That's my question done. So.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good. Well, let's get on to then people's questions.
Okay, sorry. Very selfish. First question, and this is from Looney1029. He asks, when's the next collab watch with Islander or another brand? So I presume that's to me then.
Probably. I wouldn't collab with Islander. That would be interesting.
Yeah, a Marc collab with Islander. Yeah, it's well. Do you want to spill beans or not? I mean,
what, kiss and tell? I mean, I don't think it'd be any mystery for people to hear that we're working on something to come out definitely this year and actually fairly soon.
Fairly soon, right? So we're shooting this the end of August.
Yeah.
No, the end of August.
Yeah, August 20th.
I'm probably, by the time I edit this, I wanted to get it out by the end of the month, but I don't. I'm so overworked right now. I probably beginning of next month. So with that being said, hopefully, fingers crossed. Do you want to say or do you want to say
what?
anything?
What do you want me to say? When or what? When? Yeah. So, I mean, I already have there's full samples already at the photographer, and he's getting ready to go with it. And I think probably early October-ish if stars align.
There you go. I can always edit this out if we change.
Yeah, I think we're okay. I think that, but there's always difficulties. I mean, we're happy with the prototypes came out great. I think manufacture is going well. And then just got to rely on the logistics of getting them here and then getting everything set up to ship. Yeah.
So, facciamo la corna, fingers crossed, all the rest of it. Cool. Thank you for your question. All right, next one. Oh my God, I'm going to have to put my glasses on for this.
I love it.
I have two simple questions. What do you think? Oh, this is from Chris 555. I have two simple questions. What do you think of the Timex expedition? And the second question, a bit more morbid, so be warned. Oh God. Do you ever think of who will take over your watch collection when you kick the bucket? I often think about some of my possessions in 100 to 200 years time, and that is why I value watch and jewelry collections. Cool, that's an interesting point. I never thought of it in that time scale. Over to you.
Oh, I guess to answer the Timex question, kind of seems minor at this point. Yeah, I'm a fan. I beat the same drum. I'm a fan of anything affordable that gets people into watches, and Timex certainly on the forefront with, when they did the Weekender years ago, and then going through the collection, going a little bit American made a couple of years ago, stuff like that, and Expedition. So I'm a fan. I can't say anything bad about anything they do. The $50 Mark 1 or Mark 2s they did, and reinvigorating the Marlin. No complaints.
Yeah, they're doing a really great job. I second that totally. They have, as always, I approach it from the historical perspective. They have the history. They have the pedigree. The
right.
The design. They did it legitimately for the military.
Yeah, sure.
So I love them. Any brand like that you can tick all the boxes and is affordable at the same time, I absolutely stand by and recommend 100%. Sometimes the quality is a little bit up and down.
Yeah,
but,
definitely inexpensive. Still based in America, even though they're certainly not manufacturing much here anymore. But up there in Connecticut.
As for the second question, over to you.
For me, it's probably fairly easy. I have 3 kids, so it's probably going to just get chopped up amongst them. None of them really wear watches, so it'll be interesting.
Right.
But yeah, it's just going to stay in the family, I assume. I don't sell anything, so it's all going to stay in the family.
Yeah. So none of them wear watches?
No, my daughter wears a Fitbit, but that's about it. Yeah.
Right.
I tried with my kids. I think I've mentioned this before. I wanted them to give let's see. So my oldest, who is going to be 18, when he was probably like 10 or 11, I gave him an SNK. I punched a new hole in the strap for him, and
Nice.
I think he put it on for about 5 minutes and said, yeah, I can't wear a watch. And that was that. And then my middle guy, and this was recently, he's about 15. He is 15. He loves turtles. So I got him I brought home one of the new Seiko USA turtles with
nice.
Really cool turtle shell dials and stuff. And he looked at it, because like, I'm not wearing that thing. that was that was the end of that. So yeah,
okay,
so
fair
it's
enough.
kind of, my watch collection is me, myself, and I.
Right.
Yeah. So what they do with it is up to them. How about you?
Well, I don't have any kids that I know of.
Right.
So not yet anyway.
Right.
But I've never ever thought about it. I really,
Right.
I don't. I live very much in the moment.
Here and now.
The here and now is a strict adherence to Stoic kind of Marcus Aurelius of the moment philosophy. But actually, he's obsessed with death as well, and that's kind of what frames everything. So at the same time, it was just, I guess, maybe if I'm buried like a pharaoh, and I'll just take them all with me in my grave.
There you go.
Yeah.
If I can't have them, no one will, kind of.
Yeah, there we go. So there we go. No, I think actually, realistically, if I don't have kids, then I'll leave it to my cousins in Italy, or my young cousins.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah. So they can just carry on, and I know they do. So,
right.
Yeah, cool question. Thank you very much. All right, next, another long one. Oh, this is a lot. This is from RORRT, and his question is: I hope I'm not too late. No, you're not. If not, blah, 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 blah. I'll just get to the question. Do you think Louis Vuitton will be a force to be reckoned with in a few years? They're part of LVMH, obviously, the parent company, blah, 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 blah. They could be palmed off as a fashion brand, but I think they have the potential of some really interesting releases for the casual watch buyer and for the more seasoned aficionado. Are they a watch this space kind of, or will they be time's up? Better save your money for a proper watch company. What do you think?
So what's a company that's kind of like Louis
Cartier is
Vuitton?
the first.
Oh, I was actually thinking more, but that went into the watch space recently. I was like Mont Blanc. 20 years ago. I don't know. I'm just kind of, like I said, throwing dates around. Kind of tough for me to think about it, but obviously, pens and pens only, and then all of a sudden they're making watches. I know they were forced to be reckoned with in the greater, as far as watch sales go, but are they admired in the inner sanctums of the watch community? I don't think so. I don't see them being talked about as much online in spaces that I go where they'll talk about the higher end brands. So I think they can, again, in my totally unqualified opinion, I think they can succeed as a watch brand, but I can't see them being any more than I'm going to say high-end fashion, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I just mean it's a private label watch that's probably made really well, really nice, but it's got no science and tech behind it. Is that, I don't know. I don't want to be too rude, but no, I don't think so. In the whole scheme of the LVMH Holdings thing, I just see it as being possibly a cash grab of sorts.
Yeah.
What else do you sell someone who's got a $10,000 pocketbook? I guess you sell them a $10,000 watch.
I'm probably going to do a whole video about this because it requires a lot of research and there's so many different components. So I want to separate Louis Vuitton, the fashion, the clothes and all of the rest, that kind of stuff, to the watches, because the watches they've done consecutively for 2 years, I've put them in the top worst releases of the year, not because of technical ability, because technically they do crazy stuff, like super high end, but merely because aesthetically they're vomit-inducingly bad. They're like you've taken some very bad shrooms, you're in a Gaspar Noé horror film, and they're psychedelically bad.
Well, how are they being received, though?
I have no idea, because they're so high end. I have yet to meet a person that A, is that rich, and B, has a terrible taste.
Right.
So,
I guess. Well, look at so I passed one yesterday, the Cybertruck. When that thing was announced, it was, the Tesla thing. It looks like
that
garbage
square
dumpster
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
People mocked it, hated it, laughed at them, and I don't know. I seem to be seeing more and more of them. So maybe it's just a penetration kind of thing. It just takes a while.
That's true. I mean, look, they could hire in some amazing,
right,
talented,
with the money you can get anything.
Yeah, but I do think they need to democratize it and make it more accessible. They could do it I could see them being like Bulgari with the Octo Finissimo,
super
that kind of
cool thin watches and all that stuff. Yeah.
And technically, they're a jewelry company. I know, because my godfather on my Italian side, he used to design jewelry for them. I didn't even know they did watches until like a decade ago, whenever they started. I don't know even when it was, but I could see them going down that route. But the problem is that I can't stand the Louis Vuitton as a clothes brand, because I know I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to like leather goods and particular brands. It's a false economy in terms of the quality, and that. But that's a whole lot, and I'll do a video on this. Right. Anyway, great question, and I want to return to this. All right, next one. Joey Lopez, 79, 78. At what point do you think that... Oh, this leads into this. At what point do you think the diminishing returns becomes not worth moving up in tiers for the average watch collector? Take it away.
Oh, well, I don't know who the average watch collector is. I would say diminishing return starts at a few $1,000s. I say once you get north of that, unless you're getting into super complications, like perpetual calendar or something that's really actually takes the money, I think that's diminishing returns above that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well,
that's interesting. You have a very specific amount.
Oh yeah. Well, that's kind of was what I think. Whatever the graph might be, as you spend a little bit more money, you can get leaps and bounds better, and eventually though, diminishing returns. It kind of just stops, and you don't get much better. If you take two divers, right, that just tell time, they maybe have a date, and they're stainless steel. One's 10,000 and one's 5,000. Is a $10,000 one twice as good as the 5,000? Probably not. It might be 5% better. It might just be the name that's on it. So that's why I kind of feel that your maximum kind of value for money is, your Omega-ish, mid-range stuff. I feel like once you go above that, you're not, you can get better, but you really got to spend a lot more. And unless you want something, like I said, super duper complicated.
Yeah, that's interesting, because it also kind of runs parallel to, and forgive me, this is a bit, I don't want to be disrespectful to Islander, but it runs parallel to the kind of level of watches that you offer. Oh,
it's 100%. Oh, that's why that's why the average ticket's $250, $300, because I feel like in a lot of things, once you go higher, it's tough to make it that much better.
Right. What's the most expensive watch you sell?
In the store, probably as of right now, it would probably be the Marathon Caesar. That's the automatic chronograph. I think they're like 40-something hundred, 4,200, 4,300. There's a butt ton of Damascos in the mid threes. But average, 500 and under is what sells every day.
For me, I would say my level is probably anything more than like a Casio. I think
Wow, you're really on the other end. I think like fit, finish, function, overall quality. But if you want to talk about telling time, sure, anything over an F91 is no longer needed.
I honestly, I think it's funny because I'm in the process of making a video about a Casio I really, really love. And every time I put it on, it makes me question what the F am I doing with everything else? And I think that's when...
Got it.
Because anything over that, it's got to be out of love.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's...
No, you're right. I get it. It has to really make you want to buy it for whatever the reason might be.
Right. But it's like our Grail watches because it's madness.
Yeah.
I mean, the Breguets we talked about. When I told my wife, she understands like a Rolex. Like she has a Datejust, she has a Cartier Tank, she has a G-Shock. She understands all of that. But when I explained, revealed to her what my Grail was, and I told her the price, she was just like. I guess that was her.
Yeah. That was her point of diminishing returns?
Yeah.
You'd kiss your Bulova clock goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, this is very, very easy to talk about this kind of stuff. Right. Thank you, Joey, for your question. Next one is Brian Conray Harvey 8105. I'm sorry if I'm butchering this. Where would you get a Ulysses Nardin watch if you lived in a rural area? eBay ? Chrono 24 ? I guess it's for you because you love that brand.
I bought mine in a store, but I don't live in a rural area. I live in suburban. But so perfect example, right? So you just mentioned Breguet. I'm still on the hunt. I would probably do like a Chrono 24. I'm not like a big eBay fan. I don't know why. But I would do like a Chrono 24, make sure the person's got phenomenal ratings, and then take it from there. I'm pretty sure I bought my Meistersinger like 15 years ago on Chrono 24. So as long as, just like my philosophy on buying online, as long as you trust the seller, and the seller has good reviews and good ratings, then there's really nothing to worry about.
So I'm the complete opposite to you. I'm big on eBay, massive eBay fan. I've used the authenticity guarantee. Actually, I'll tell you a great story. Just the other day, I bought some jewelry off eBay, and the authenticity guarantee rejected it. It failed the inspection, and I got a refund instantly. So I know it works, and I know the place that does the watch checking. I'm not saying it's infallible. I'm just, but I'm just saying that I've used it extensively, and I absolutely swear by it. But you got to know what you're doing because you still can get burnt. But like you said, by the seller, Right, great question. Thank you very much, and good luck on your UN hunt. This is Zillsbury1. He said, TGV, if you want to see a good movie on the Soviet-Afghan War, The Beast from 1988, Corey Haim's brother from Lost Boys is in it, and Jason Patrick. Yeah, I wanted to reply to this comment because, funnily enough, my other godfather on my English side edited that very movie, and I know about that movie, and it's in my collection, highly underrated. Check it out, guys. It's called The Beast from 1988. There's a new movie just came out called The Beast. So I just wanted to thank that person for the comment because my godfather, he went on to do Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and Waterworld, I think. So he really, his career really picked up from that movie. So I thought that was a cool little bit of trivia. Anyway, this is a great question. This is from Kirsten Bays, and it is, what are your top 10 watches somebody new to the hobby should know, not own, but know? Maybe a much copied benchmark or an established classic like a Rolex Submariner, AP Royal Oak. So many.
Wait, just starting?
Yeah, like watches you should absolutely know if you're just starting, yeah.
Oh, that you should know. Yeah, jeez, just turn on, just flip through YouTube for 30 seconds. Yeah. And it's the same watches that every influencer talks about.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely Submariner.
Yeah, Submariner, Seamaster and Speedmaster, I would say.
Yeah.
Wow, you could go to, want to go to vintage, you'd look at Seiko Turtles and, Vietnam War era watches. Oh boy.
For the Casios, watches. For the Casio F91W.
Casio's the world.
G-Shock.
You want value, you're Duro. The world is an oyster. A Tissot, wow. I wouldn't even know. I'd be like, I'd have to sit the person down and have like a whole,
I know.
Like an intervention with them.
Yeah, I know, right? That would actually be a great subject for a whole video to do,
Yeah. What are 10 watches you absolutely must know if you're new to the hobby?
Yeah, you know what? Let's put it to the audience if you want to share.
Yeah, see what they say. Yeah, because obviously there's lots that I'm not even thinking about. I mean, as someone who's obviously I'm very skewed. I'm very embedded in the affordable world. So no one's. I walk outside, no one's going to say Orient, right? But it's an interesting question. What are the top 10 watches that have permeated into our daily lives?
Yeah.
And that are maybe instantly recognizable?
Yeah, that's true. I think, great question. Great question. Next one. ABN Stubby says, do you see any advantages to, and do you recommend oil-filled Sinn watches like the U50 Hydro versus the standard U50? This is for you. This is totally outside of my wheelhouse.
I just think it's... What's a good comparison I could make? I don't know. I just think it's Mount Everest. You do it because you climb it because it's there. Unless you're diving to 1,000 meters, there's no reason to have an oil-filled watch. There's no reason to oil-fill your Casio. People do it for shit and giggles. No, I don't see an advantage to it. The Resance, that oil-filled watch.
Oh, yeah,
it's magnetically operated from underneath. No, I just think it's super cool. Obviously, clarity takes on a whole new level because the index of refraction of the oil as compared to air. There's the dial just is so much clearer. But other than that, I don't think there's an advantage other than my watch is filled with oil. Isn't that cool? Right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, like I say, I guess there's a slight visual advantage, but I don't know, is it worth the cost and expense? Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so I understand the concept of pressure, but is there any difference to like shock absorption?
Yeah, there would be.
Yeah?
Yeah. There would be, because I guess the oil provides its own damping higher than air. Yeah, because it's a lot more viscous. But to the point where if you dropped it, would it make much of a difference? I don't know. The scale is so small, it might not.
Right,
It's a good question. It's a good question.
I'm just thinking underwater.
Well, I mean, really the advantage is for, you can go really deep because the oil liquids are essentially incompressible. So you don't have to worry about the crystal deflecting or anything. You can go deeper easier, but you still have to seal the watch against the oil ever getting out. And then every time you service it, it's a freaking nightmare.
Do you remember that accident when the people that went down to see the Titanic?
Yeah, it was like a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
About a year ago.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be able to survive that, would it?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay.
No, I mean, I'm not an expert, but no.
No. Fair enough. Right, next question. A lot of death today. Right. Yeah, next question. Oh, this is from Red Fury Books. Shout out to you, my friend. He appeared on one of my videos, review collection reaction thingy where people would submit. I still need to do that. I just have not had time to do that again. Apologize if you're still waiting. He says, love the Ultimate Grail watch and the story behind it. I do think Grail is something that would definitely complete the journey. For me, it's likely to be something by the Holy Trinity, like Vacheron, as I'll likely never be able to afford one. Q&A with Marc. What's the your biggest watch collecting regret, whether it is something you wish you hadn't sold or something you could have bought and wish you hadn't passed on. Yeah. So you don't sell anything. So the first part of that doesn't
yeah, it does. It doesn't really apply to me.
Yeah.
I am fortunate enough to not really have to sell any of my collection.
Yeah, unlike me, who is full of regrets. So where to...
it's not that it's just that, I don't know. Yeah, I have biggest regrets. It's not pulling the trigger on some watches I liked before their prices exploded.
Yeah, same here, same here.
But, it could have gone the other way. The price could have tanked. And then I would have said that was my biggest triumph.
Fair enough. The only one that comes to mind is a snowflake dialed Tudor Submariner that was just like really great condition, and it was before the hype,
right?
And people still didn't really want them, and it was just, God, imagine what that's worth now. But I don't want to think about value like that. I would have enjoyed it. I would have enjoyed it. You know?
Right.
That's what.
No, I understand that. Yeah. Because I think when people say regrets, I think a lot of us immediately go to finances.
Yeah.
And say, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. But I wouldn't say that I've ever really passed up on anything that I really, really, really wanted and it was right. No. I mean, like I said, the hunt for the Grail never ends. Because once I get the Grail, there'll be another one behind it. There'll be another one.
Fair enough.
I got to keep that watch chest filled.
Okay, next question. This is from Watches Can Be Fun. Love that. Great. This is a channel. Check out this channel. Any advice for giving unbiased watch reviews and to still grow YouTube? Love the channel. God bless. So yeah, what is your advice?
I maintain that if I started my channel now, it would never grow like it grew. I don't think I'd ever amass the audience I amass now. Just like if I would have started on e-commerce selling watches now, I would not be where I am now 20 years later, et cetera, et cetera. I just think I kind of struck in the right spot when the iron is hot.
Yeah.
I think you really need a differentiator, whatever that might be. Obviously stay true, don't be paid for reviews, this and that. But there is a differentiator, whatever that differentiator might be. You're one of the originals, right? But you have scripting, you have editing, all this other great stuff. There's people, their videography is phenomenal, elevates, that's their differentiator. Some people it's just their honesty, some people it's just their personality. I think that to make it, you need, there's now more than ever, because it's no longer just 10 people on YouTube making watch videos.
Right.
It's now,
which
I'm amazed at how many.
That's what it was when we started.
That's
right?
what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I started after, a year or two after you.
Yeah.
And I got my idea by watching you. I just feel like, as I flip through, I don't subscribe to many things, but when it recommends watch videos, I just see all these smaller channels. Like, how many are there now? This is crazy. Yeah. And I do watch some of the content and I'll say, wow, this person's videography is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And their audio is great. But there's something missing. I don't know what it is. I'm not the expert. I was fortunate enough to be in the beginning. That's how I was able to grow. But yeah, I'm not much of a help. Differentiator, I think that's what it is. You have to find what makes you different.
I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head. I would recommend reading the last part of Ralph Waldo Emerson's Self-Reliance, where he talks about kind of discovering what makes you unique and taking that, because ultimately, like you said, if oversaturation is a thing, which it is now, then you got to bring something new to the table. I think being unbiased and respectfully honest. There's a difference between sensationalism and being abusive for the sake of I just Rolex sucks, blah blah blah. Well, that's a bad example. But doing something like.
But no, you're right. That's kind of still works.
Yeah, that does still work. But what I mean is something that is alienating. Like, okay, how about this? Like, if you wear a Rolex, you suck, right?
There you go. Perfect.
So I would not recommend doing that because you know we want to grow together. We want to bring this, because trust me, the brands are not doing a good job themselves, are they? So it's up to us to do this. So being inclusive but being respectful, and also you got to remember there are people and families feeding their families with a lot of these watches. So yeah, I just be yourself. I think you hit the nail on the head. You really did. You really did. But good luck. I am familiar with your channel. That's another thing. Comment. If you have a channel, comment. You know, interact. I try and when I watch videos, I try and leave comments. If I really believe in something, I'll try and support it.
Right.
So interact with other people, and because life is short, you know. So yeah, great. Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, that's a big one. Good luck.
This is from Chris Ciccarelli. Do you focus on a collection of one grail? And for him, it would be a Pepsi GMT or a Panerai Luminor. Great taste, my friend. Or do you a quest after a few lost arcs? I'm not quite sure. He says like Tudor, Omega, Oris, Grand Seiko. Or do you compile a large collection of crystal skulls, in quotes? I presume you're referring to Indiana Jones. I'm not sure. The worst Indiana Jones movie. A Seiko, Orient, Tissot, Casio. Yeah, less is more, a focus thing, or just kind of, you know.
Well, as far as a grailing or as far as a collecting? I guess it's a grailing, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
It's certainly a less is more. I mean, and it obviously happens that your grails, I think, tend to be the most expensive, because if they weren't, they wouldn't be grails. You'd own them, right?
Yeah.
So I think by definition, there's going to be a fewer is better kind of thing.
It depends on where you are in your collecting journey, because at the beginning, you know, you're just trying everything. You're just, you know, and then because I'm certainly at that stage, not only in my life, where I want to have a really focused, small collection. I don't typically wear all my watches that much anymore. I go to a select few all the time, unless it's an exception like this that you got to put away and then you got to pull out. I think it depends on where you are. I really do.
That's a good point. Do you think as a starting collector, there's a grail right when you start? Not you in particular, but just in general.
I don't know.
You know, you buy a watch. Like, let's say you're not a normal person. You buy. You're one of us, right?
Yeah,
and you're gonna fall into this trap, and you know, someone gifts you a Seiko, a Citizen, whatever, and you're enamored with it. Do you immediately go and say, I want one of those one day, or is it more like the journey brings you to realizing what you want the most and what the grail might be?
Yeah.
And that's not to get philosophical.
Well, it ties in. Sorry, I just dribbled on myself. It ties in perfectly with what he went on to say. The Grail quest is forever changing and evolving, but do we ever really want to reach it? Feels like to actually sell my collection and to obtain my Grail would be worse than getting my heart ripped out in the Temple of Doom. Oh, so it was a Indiana Jones reference.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. Yeah. Okay.
Onwards and upwards, gents. Okay, so you've got to decide. To quote Tarantino, you have to come to terms with your fears and desires. It's only you can judge that. I just wouldn't rush into it, and it depends also where you are in your journey. When it feels right, it feels right. If it doesn't feel right, then you know, I don't think you're ready yet.
I can't believe we're talking about watches. I just stepped outside myself for a moment. I was watching this conversation. I'm like, those losers are talking about watches.
I know. Yeah. Well, great.
Anyway.
Thank you, Chris Ciccarelli. Thank you very much. So we'll move on. Joseph B319 TGV. TGV will flee to a remote island. I bet Marc won't be happy and having to make the trip every month to do watch talk. My point. Hey, points to anyone who still uses Netscape email addresses. Yeah. Sorry, that wasn't a question. That was just a good comment. Thank you.
Do you know anybody that still uses Netscape email?
No, but I know somebody who uses Earthlink.
Oh, okay. Oh, Earthlinks. I see Earthlinks a lot.
Yeah.
Earthlink.net. I see a lot of them.
Really?
I still know personally. I know people that have AOL addresses.
AOL. Oh my God. AOL.com. Yeah.
Do you remember when you used to get the CDs? In
Yeah.
the Sunday paper.
Yeah. Yeah. I still in the UK they had the voice of Joanna Lumley to do the "You've Got Mail."
You've got mail.
Yeah. It was very relaxing.
Anyway.
She's got amazing voice. Just Google YouTube Joanna Lumley. You got mail. She's like, you've got welcome. It was it was great. Anyway, Q&A for both of you. If you guys were in the 80s, oh sorry, this is Joe CHHOUK 6110. For both of you, if you guys were in an 80s action movie, hero or villain, what would be the perfect watches for you? Cool, great question.
I am an action hero.
Would you be a hero or a villain, first of all?
Oh, I'd have to probably be a hero.
Yeah?
I'm not evil enough to be a villain.
Oh, I'd so be the villain.
You'd be a villain?
Yeah, definitely.
So we'd be perfect. I'd be fighting you. But okay, so what watch are you wearing? Think about it.
Yeah, I got it.
Does it have to be an 80s? Does it have to be a proper, can we have an anachronism? Or does it have to be a proper 80s watch? Oh, I know. I'll have an Arnie.
You'll have an Arnie. Okay, well, I'll have a day. I'll just go. It's an obvious choice.
Oh, so you're like more of a mafioso.
Yeah. I'll go full
mafioso.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
I loved it.
Playing a villain would be so fun. Just hamming it up and being evil.
A creative license.
Yeah. Just like Question for Marc. Okay. You love engineering behind mechanical watch movements. Do you see Islander making a watch with additional complications in the future? And this is from Richard Rees 4463. Thank you for your question. Yeah.
I would say, with additional complications, only if they're available in canned movements, such as a power reserve or a big date or a pointer date or something like that. But I would never dare to try to develop my own movement. My bel canto just went off.
Nice.
You definitely didn't hear it because the lab won't pick it up.
I did actually hear it from this. Yeah.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Right. The computer picked it up. So anyway, I would never, ever attempt to try to develop my own, DD module or my own functionality within a movement or any of that stuff. I am not that full of myself or naive to think I could possibly.
I don't think it's full of yourself. Why not?
Oh my goodness, nah. That's a totally different. The micro level that movements are on is just a totally different level of engineering.
Yeah. That's true.
And then never mind the developmental costs of everything, and then the R&D, and then the testing. And, before you feel the movement, you got to make sure it works.
Well, your bel canto is a perfect example of.
Yeah, I'm sure they sunk a lot of money into this. It's derived off of a jumping hour watch that they already had. That's right. Think about it, makes sense. At the top of the hour, it keeps knocking a cog over. But still, that's not where I am. I'd love to, don't get me wrong. I'd love to actually just sit down and tinker with watches, but I don't have the dexterity or anything for it anyway.
Fair enough. Next question is from Tenshin2002. So I thought TGV would recommend the Panerai Rattrapante. It's a beautiful watch for sure, way out of my budget though. Yeah, because you were still looking for that Rattrapante. Did you see any in the comments that kind of took your fancy? Yeah,
there was one. Who hit it? Somebody hit it. It was the Top Gun watch, right?
Yeah, I pinned that comment. Yeah.
Yeah, you pinned it. Yeah, I saw it. I don't know. I like it, but it's... Am I making excuses now for not buying it? Too sporty.
Too sporty, okay.
Too sporty. I want a little fancier. But it is cool. I like it, and the price wasn't horrendous.
Okay, so
it wasn't bad.
So you've kind of narrowed it down. So you not sporty, something classical,
a little more elegant. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, it was a good choice.
Bill Louis 2269 Hanhart 417 ES 1954 39mm or the Nevada Grenchen Chronomaster. Well, you know where my loyalties lie. It's the Hanhart 417. It's the most legendary military chronograph of all time, in my opinion. It's a great brand. I love Nevada Grenchen, and certainly that the Chronomaster is the more versatile because you have the added complications with the bezel. So technically it's the superior watch, but my heart will always go Hanhart. It's a very, very special brand, but that's my opinion. You got to go with what, you know, the one that gets your heart racing more. That's typically what you should go for, you know? That's
a way to say it. That's a good way to say it. Buy what you want, not what everyone else thinks.
Yeah. Any opinion on those brands?
Not really. It's honestly, they're both kind of outside my area of expertise. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll be honest.
This is a great last question for you.
Go. Hopefully, it's in my area of expertise.
To Marc, and this is from El Manuel. Are you planning on moving up market with Islander or even a new brand? What are your thoughts on that?
So if I did move up, it would be with a different brand. I do not have plans to do it now, but it has definitely been discussed and kicked around a bit. I happen to like where I live with the brand. The price is a nice price, almost recession-proof. But as I learned with the watch we released a couple of years ago, there is a ceiling in the affordable sector for what a brand can continue to get away with. So yeah, I would definitely have to go with a different brand.
Right. And this is from Altal2993. What do you wear at home when you're with the missus and family chilling out?
Oh my goodness, it's whatever watch I'm wearing that day. It doesn't matter. If today was Sunday, chances are these two would have been on my wrist. It's still, every day for me is another day to wear two watches.
Right.
I mean, unless I'm doing something
specific.
If I'm going to the beach or something else, then it might just be one watch and it'll be a G-Shock or something. But otherwise, it's whatever the hand hits.
For me, I go to my Panerai or my Casio, the Mission Impossible. They're both so legible at night. The Casio with the backlight, and the Panerai is, you know, you'd have to be severely visually impaired not to be able to read that thing. And I just love those two watches. It's also about what I wear. At home, I'm in casual attire, and they both work with casual attire. If I'm going somewhere, I dress up. Usually the shirts and things like that dictate the color or what shoes I'm wearing or where I'm going, the venue, that situation. Then I will pick the watch. But typically it's my Mission Impossible or the Panerai.
Very nice. Yeah, no, I'm more of the day doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's so funny. We're so different in that regard.
Yeah, and the clothes don't matter either.
Right.
Yeah, I'll wear, my most expensive watch with sweatpants or vice versa.
Nice. This is really for you.
Uh-oh.
And this is from McLovin Hawaii 3905. What defines an engineer's watch? And what is the history? Modern, accurate examples? ?
Wow. What defines an engineer's watch? I've always felt that the engineer is not an engineer's watch.
Right.
That's just, first time I saw that, I was like, well, I don't know what engineer would do something like that. An engineer's watch, in my opinion, is a total skeleton watch. That's it. Because if you're an engineer, you want to see exactly how it works. So let's say you're an engineer and you're buying a watch, a mechanical watch. You don't have to take it apart. You can just get a skeleton and this is how I started. You stare at it and you're like, okay, that's turning, got it, that's doing that, that's going back and forth, the spring is oscillating, and you figure it out. That to me is an engineer's watch. Right. I guess that's a mechanical engineer's watch, but yeah.
That's interesting because, and we should state for those not familiar with Marc's background that you were an engineer.
It's like a Marine. You're always an engineer.
Okay, yeah, exactly, right, yeah. Interesting. Okay, well, I naturally think of the Milgauss, because of Faraday cages and that kind of stuff. But realistically, I also think of Doc from Back to the Future. I think of digital, you know, I think of like that weird Seiko that he had on one hand. I just like you, he does the Schwarzkopf.
Oh, does he really? I never realized it.
Yeah. I think of like, you know, calculator, nerdy type.
Yeah, but that's not my kind of engineer. That's the engineer that's not my customer. I worked with engineers. They are very frugal, as my boss put it. They are frugal people. And yes, little digital Casios was the order of the day for many of them.
They think in terms of logic, so therefore, you know, it's illogical to have.
Exactly. All I need to do is tell the time. And then, like I said, with an engineer, it's how can I do it as cheaply as possible.
Right. I'm gonna end with one. Just this is Crazy Joe Dova.
Crazy Joe Davola?
Echo. Yeah. You know him?
Do you know what that's from?
No.
It's a character from Seinfeld. That's crazy.
Crazy
That's
Joe
awesome,
Davola.
actually.
Davola. Okay. He says, just a curious question. How do you know you're related to Fletcher Christian and not one of the others like Ned Young and John Adams? Okay, so going back to the previous episode, I did mention it briefly in that episode that I have several of his possessions. Maybe I didn't mention that they're actually signed. They have his signature on it. And the other thing is, in the UK, you'll see it in the intro, probably of this video you're watching, Burke's Peerage, and it's an ancient book that has all the old families of Great Britain in it. And my parents are in there, my mum and my dad in the latest edition, but the one I have, it was from before their time. I can trace it all the way back to the Christians. Now, the Christians were from what's called Manx Gentry, which are from the Isle of Man, which is an island. So it's funnily enough, he started on an island and ended up on a different island the other side of the world. So that's how I know, and that's pretty much all the proof I need.
I don't have anybody famous.
You don't have any famous?
Actually, I had an uncle or great uncle that worked on the Manhattan Project.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, never met him. My dad's uncle.
Wow.
Worked on the altimeter, from what I understand.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Oh, you know what? Can I read this one out? I'm really sorry.
Let's just do one more.
All right. This is Eduardo Sturla. I apologize.
He wasn't on Seinfeld, so I don't know.
Right. TGV, always fascinated to see a historical background when you're speaking about a brand or a product. What history books have you enjoyed in the past? What are you reading now? And what is your favorite authors or themes in fiction, non-fiction? Love to hear your literary journey. Actually, I would love to ask you that question with your engineering background.
Sure. So I do love, so let's go with fiction. As you may remember, my fiction journey started in high school with Clive Cussler.
Yes.
I was given one of his books. That's how I got the Doxa.
Nice.
So I've read pretty much every Clive Cussler book up until he started with co-authors. And then I went away. And then I just did the whole bevy of fiction authors, whoever it might be, Balducci, DeMille, Crichton, all that stuff. And then on the nonfiction side, watches, I've read a few things, obviously the most popular being Longitude, which was phenomenal. I think I read one other on time measurement and stuff like that. But on the nonfiction end, I read almost anything. It could be on mathematics, it could be science. I do have a certain penchant for behavioral economics.
Interesting.
Which is kind of like, the psychology behind purchase. And yeah. To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink is a wonderful book. Why We Do What We Do in Life and Business, also an excellent book. I just kind of gravitate towards these things.
Fascinating.
Because it helps me get into the mindset of the purchaser.
Interesting. Would you say that exploration is a common theme in the fiction that you read?
No, I'm more of action adventure. How's that sound? Yeah, I guess Clive Cussler, is he exploration? I think he's more action adventure. It was always centered around him finding something, whether it be Lincoln's boat at the bottom of a river or something, or
Have you tried Fleming's, Bond novels?
Yeah, did I? I think I might have read one Fleming book. And
didn't grab you?
Yeah, like him and Tom Clancy. Both of them never grabbed me. How about you? So go ahead.
Like I mentioned earlier, I'm reading a lot of Emerson, which I'm kind of rereading now. I like history. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Anthony Beaver a lot. I really like Robert Greene. 48 Laws, Art of Seduction. The classic stuff like Marcus Aurelius Meditations is my favorite book. That's why he's in the intro. Everything from Machiavelli to... I'm trying to think of other... I'm sure I can think of a million different examples. In terms of watches, I did a video years ago. Pretty much that still stands up. Those are my go-to watch books. I haven't read any since those, so have a look back in the archives for that. Of anything else, I actually quite like comic books as well. Transmetropolitan is amazing. It's very adult themed, but incredibly prescient. I'm looking at my books right now, actually. There's so many. A lot of art books, because art is absolutely paramount to me. I could talk about books all day, to be honest. Anyway, we'll leave it there. I think we had enough, right?
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, we're done. I mean, we could still do 1,000 more questions. There's so many. Thank you, everyone, for submitting your questions. Any last words?
No. Look for the new Rangemaster, if there will be one.
Yes.
Coming soon.
Very soon. Should we give any spoilers away? It's a watch.
Yeah, it's a watch. It's definitely... My photographer got it. And I will say that he said to me, that case is insane.
Right. Yeah, so, we can say it's unlike the
anything.
Anything, yeah.
And I wouldn't say just like any of the predecessors. It's unlike anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it is. I feel like it's unlike anything out there.
Would balls to the wall be...
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. But maybe we should say, though, that the packaging on this is... It's the whole deal. Everything. Yeah. We went soup to nuts on this thing.
I spent a week just designing the goddamn packaging.
yeah. It's something else. It's a hell of a kit, right? It's a nice kit.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the Rangemaster 2. Stay tuned. It's crazy.
I would like to say that the second one was the mechanical. That's why it wasn't the second.
Yeah, right.
People say, "Oh, this is the third one."
No,
this wasn't. Right.
And the whole reason was because kind of like the way the Explorer and the Explorer 2, it's a different thing, right? It's
right.
Like, but this is really like.
Some people will love it. I really feel so.
Yeah.
I think some people will absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
But that's good, right? I mean, I just think that's what it is.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because everything we've done has been very safe.
Safe. Yeah, this is not safe.
Yeah, no, this is not safe.
There's no safety net here.
Yeah, well, fantastic. This is a beautiful bit to end on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shout out to Marc, so kindly sponsoring the production of this video. Do check out his channel. Do check out Instagram, your MySpace, Netscape, AOL.com.
Yeah, my AOL. Yeah, exactly.
All of that. Can we think of any other dead websites that...
Mozilla.
Mozilla, yeah. Check me out on /Mozilla.com.
No, Mozilla was a browser.
Was it what, sorry?
It was a Unix-based browser. Back in the day, back in like the 90s, it was a web browser.
Was that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
I'm
even
going way back because when I was in college.
Wow. So like what? MS-DOS.
It was Unix.
Unix
is another operating system.
Right.
All the engineers are going TGV. It's Unix.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, thumbs up, likes, smash that like button and all that good stuff. We'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Onwards and upwards. Ciao.
Bye-bye. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.